He was an American entrepreneur and U.S. Army officer in the Philippines, with many accomplishments, but today, mostly remembered in the Boy Scouts of the Philippines as one of the founding fathers. As one of the founder of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, he became both the first president, the corporate head of the organization, and the first chief scout patterned after Baron Baden-Powell of Gilwell and Ernest Thompson Seton to act as the focus of the youth's inspiration which had fueled the entire scout movement globally. Josephus Emile Hamilton Joe Stevenot was born in Melones, California on December 23, 1888 to Emile Stevenot and Sarah Elisabeth Hamilton Stephens Stevenot. Josephus Stevenot served as director of the Philippine Trust Company, president and general manager of the Philippine Long Distance Telephone Company, director of the Bank of the Philippine Islands, director of Philippine Milling Company, director of Philippine Realty Corporation, and director of Fidelity and Surety Company. Stevenot's involvement in scouting in the Philippines started with the Boy Scouts of America Philippine Islands Council No. 545. As chairman of the Finance Committee, the council was financially unstable and he was invited by West Pointer General Vicente Lim, a Boy Scouting supporter. The council improved considerably under Stevenot's guidance. The Rotary Club of Manila would go on to sponsor other organizations, including the Boy Scouts of America Philippine Islands Council, Rotary Club of Cebu, the Rotary Club of Iloilo, the Community Chess Foundation, the Philippine Band of Mercy, and the Philippine Safety Council. In 1934, he was elected the last president of the BSA Philippine Islands Council No. 545. He performed the paperwork, obtained the support of 6 prominent national personalities to lend their names as incorporators, and lobbied the Philippine National Assembly for a legal charter, imitating the congressional charter obtained by the Boy Scouts of America from the United States Congress. His efforts resulted in a legislative bill sponsored by Assemblyman Thomas Valenzuela Confessor and signed into law as Commonwealth Act No. 111 by President Manuel Luis Molina Quezon on October 31, year 1936. 1937, in his letter to the people of the Philippine Islands, dated October 28, year 1937, Theodore Roosevelt Jr. commended Stevenot. In Major Stevenot, you have an exceptionally able and public-spirited man. The BSP movement started with activities in 1938. The Boy Scouts of the Philippines took over scouting responsibility for Filipino boys, while the Philippine Islands Council of the Boy Scouts of America held jurisdiction for America boys in the Philippines after 1937 until its disbanded in 1942 at the height of the World War II. Later, Gabriel Daza was appointed as Secretary of the Boy Scout Foundation by Joseph Stevenot, the foundation's chairman. In 1939, Stevenot supported the establishment of a Girl Scout organization by sending Josefa Llanes Escoda to the United States and Britain for training. Upon Escoda's return to the Philippines, he assisted her in setting up the Girl Scouts of the Philippines. In 1941, by request of the BSP, the BSA recognized Stevenot's service to youth with the award of the Silver Buffalo. In 1952, he also received the highest distinction of the Scout Association of Japan, the Golden Pheasant Award. It was while working for Allied intelligence in the Southwest Pacific area in World War II that Colonel Stevenot died in a plane crash in Vanuatu on June 8, year 1943. Stevenot was buried in New Caledonia He was later exhumed by the U.S. Army, and his friend fellow Boy Scouts of the Philippines charter member Don Gabriel Daza. His remains were later buried with full scouting honors at La Loma Cemetery in Caloocan City, Philippines, allegedly by request of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. 40 years later, Stevenot's wife passed away in California, and one of the Stevenot's daughters and Daza brought the ashes to the Philippines to be buried beside her husband.